Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Power. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright, now look. So for this one, I'm gonna be telling y'all about my ex-girlfriend, Bree. This is a wild ass story, so stay tuned. Alright, now y'all know I gotta start everything from the top so it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I graduated 2007. So I'm a '07. Bree was a '08. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know y'all remember back in high school days when you was senior, you look down on the juniors. You know what I'm saying? So basically, me and her, we didn't kick it because I was a senior, she was a junior. You know what I'm saying? But we knew each other, right? Now, Bree was this little short, fine. She probably was like 5'3", 5'4", about 140 pounds. Real slim, fine as fuck. She was like black and Asian mix. Like she had this black and Asian look on her face. You know what I'm saying? Bad as hell. But anyway, I always seen her, in school, in the hallways, shit like that. We just never talked. You know what I'm saying? All right. I graduated high school. That was that. I haven't seen her since. Now, fast forward to tape. This 2017. This is exactly 10 years later, right? I'm on Facebook one day, scrolling through my feed, and I see her. She popped up on my feed. You know what I'm saying? Like she had posted like 10 pictures at one time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, I ain't seen her in a minute. Mind you, I didn't even know we was Facebook friends. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Now, at this time, I was still kind of fresh out of prison. I had about 2 years out, but that's still like fresh out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still, getting used to everything. I'm still, getting back in the flow of being in the world, shit like that, right? So while I'm looking at her pictures, I'm like, damn, I ain't seen her in a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I went ahead, jumped in her inbox. You know what I'm saying? I just shot my shot. Like I said, this 10 years later, she didn't glowed all the way the fuck up. Like she was cold back then. Now she really went through the roof. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn. I'm like, man, she bad as fuck. I seen her status said she was single and everything. I'm like, shit, I'm about to shoot my shot. So I jumped in her inbox. I threw the little eyes, you know what I'm saying, in her inbox. I came and checked it back like an hour later. I seen she left me on red. I was like, oh, she smoked me. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, whatever. I wasn't tripping. I just shot my shot because I seen her on my timeline looking fine as hell. Next thing I know, maybe like 20 minutes after that, I get a little face call from her, from the Facebook Messenger, right? I'm like, is she face calling me? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? This was like the first time I had got like a face call off a messenger. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, I went ahead. I opened it up. Me and her on the FaceTime call. Bad as hell, just like her pictures. Now, sometimes girls, they can angle a picture right, and they can look good in a picture or two, but they really don't be looking like that for real. Nah, Bree was like that for real, like cold. You know what I'm saying? So while she FaceTiming me, she in like this little sectional. You know what I'm saying? She was like at a club or something, sitting in the sectional with her and her girls. I was in the whip. This when I had that SS Miami. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting in the car rolling up. I had the sunroof open and shit. It was a nice sunny day. So the sunlight was beaming on me and shit. And she in the club with her girls. So my background nice and clear. Hers nice and clear. You know what I'm saying? So she get to showing me the girl she sitting in the sectional with. I'm like, damn, all of them was cold. You know what I'm saying? They all asking who I am and shit. So basically, I'm making her look good type shit. You know what I'm saying? Well, we get to talking, right? You know what I'm saying? We was only on the phone probably like 3-4 minutes. We just talking, catching up. Like, damn, how you been? You look good. Blah blah blah. All of that shit, right? So she like, look, she like, I'm in Miami right now. You know what I'm saying? But she like, I'll be back in about 2 days. You know what I'm saying? 2-3 days, some shit like that. She was like, when I come back, do you want to come get me from the airport? I'm like, yeah, I come get you, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, just call me, you know? She like, all right, bet, I'll call you. I'm like, you know, go ahead and enjoy the rest of your trip. Boom. We got off the face call, right? For the next couple of days, we just texting each other, you know what I'm saying? Boom. The time came. She at the airport. I picked her up. We riding back. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to take her to her house. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, her daddy called her. You know what I'm saying? Her daddy like, hey, you know, I need you to come over here. You know, the family want to see you, blah, 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 all of that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Her daddy didn't stay nowhere near where she stayed at. You know what I'm saying? Actually, while we was riding, we actually was like closer to her daddy house than we was to her house. You know what I'm saying? So I heard the phone conversation. You know, it wasn't like it was a nigga or none of that. It was her daddy. You know what I'm saying? So she like, would it be cool if you drop me off at my daddy house? You know what I'm saying? I get a ride from there. I'm cool. I just need to get over there with the family. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I don't got no problem with it, you know. So I went and dropped her off at the daddy house, you know. Daddy real overprotective of her, like for real, you know what I'm saying? So when I dropped her off, he came outside, you know what I'm saying? He came and introduced himself to me, all of that, you know. So we was cool, but I didn't go in the house with the family. I just stood outside, kicked it with him for a minute, you know. So all right, cool. I left. Later on that night, she hit me up. She like, you know, where you at? I'm like, shit, I'm in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Now, let me throw this in there real quick, right? Me and her, we from the same hood, 7 Mile, right? But we from different sections. You know what I'm saying? Like the neighborhood she from the neighborhood called Faux Life. Y'all know who Doughboy Keese is? From Doughboy's Cash Out with Payroll and them, HBK, all of them boys, Doughboy Rock. You know, Keese is from Faux Life hood. You always hear him saying 7 Mile Faux Life. You know what I'm saying? That's his neighborhood. That's the neighborhood she from. You know what I'm saying? My neighborhood is 2 miles down the street from their neighborhood. You know, it's the same hood, but different sections. You know what I'm saying? So I knew everybody from her hood all the way back to my hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew all of them niggas. It was a whole lot of us. I knew everybody. You know what I'm saying? We went to school together. We grew up together. We from the same hood. All of that. You know what I'm saying? So I knew everybody. All right? Make sure y'all remember that I said this. Okay. Now, when I go pull up on her, you know what I'm saying? Because she told me, you know, to come over and shit, you know. So she dropped the address. The address, I get there. Basically, this bitch live in a Roach Motel type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, you know, but I wasn't tripping because I liked her. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, whatever. So when I get there, I'm out there waiting, you know, for her, you know, to come out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking me and her about to sit in the car and Kiki. You know, I had texted her and told her I was here. She didn't reply. So I was just sitting there real quick. I rolled up a blunt, you know. While I'm doing that, she called me. I pick up. I'm like, you know, what's up? She like, the police didn't pull me over. They taking my car. They on some bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what? She like, yeah, I don't got time to talk. Just come pull up. Just come get me. I'm like, all right, you know, tell me where you at. She told me where she was at. She was like in the Dexter Linwood neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too far away from where she stayed at, but it's like, you told me to come over. You said you was at home. How the fuck you over here? You know, the Dexter Linwood area was about 10 minutes away from where she stayed at. You know what I'm saying? So I pull up, right? Sure enough, the Detroit police out there towing her car. It was 2 black guys. You know what I'm saying? So when I pulled up, I got out the car and I walked up. One of the cops, he walked up to me. He like, look, man. He like, you know, I know this your girl, whatever, you know, but he like, man, she drunk as hell. She talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Her license suspended. It was like, you know, on some real, he was like, we was just gonna let her go. You know what I'm saying? Give her a ticket and let her go. But he like, you know, she got the cutting up on us and she drunk with no license. So he like, I'm taking her car. I was like, all right, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? So he handed me the little tow yard card and all of that shit, right? All right, cool. So I get her because she was out there tweaking on them. You know what I'm saying? I had to snatch her up, throw her in the car. We pull off, right? So we go back to her spot. Nah, this is another thing. At that time, I was like up, down, up, down, up, down. from 2015 when I got out all the way to 2020. For them 5 years, I was up, down, up, down, up, down. And that was in between the time I was with my baby mama. Honestly, that was mainly the reason why I was so up, down, because I'm taking care of my baby mama and the kids all at the same time, But I ain't making no excuse. I'm just saying I was, up, down for like 5 years straight. You know what I'm saying? And at this time, I was down. I was still good, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, while I'm talking to Bree, we get back to her spot. Of course, she crying and whining. Her car got impounded, all of this shit, right? I'm like, what happened to your license? Why is your license suspended? As a woman, why is your license suspended? She like, I ain't go to court. They suspended it, blah, 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 all of this bullshit, right? All right. I'm like, we gonna figure it out. We gotta get your car out the impound. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't nothing wrong with her car. She had a Jeep, a Jeep Cherokee. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't nothing wrong with her shit. She just got it impounded on some bullshit, right? So I'm like, we gonna come up with a plan. We gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So she like, all right. She like, I'm gonna trust in you, to help me with this situation because I don't know what to do. I don't got nobody that can get it for me. Mind you, her daddy real overprotective and all of that type of shit, but he wouldn't do certain things for her. You know what I'm saying? And that was like one of the things he wouldn't do for her. He like, you got to be an adult, get your own car back type shit. You know what I'm saying? Well, with that being said, at that time, right, I told y'all my license been suspended since I got my license. So basically at that time, I was about $10,000 in the hole with my license. So I wasn't even worried about my license. I was like, fuck that shit. I don't care about it, Nah, at that time, my baby mama, she was only $1,000 in the hole with her license. She another one had a suspended license. You know what I'm saying? I hit a lick, came across a couple of dollars. I told my baby mama, I'm like, look, one of us got to have a valid license. You know what I'm saying? We together, we got kids and shit. One of us got to have a valid license, So I'm like, look, let's go down to the courthouse. Let's pay these tickets, get your license, right? Since she was so much closer to the door of having her license, I just paid her license, you know what I'm saying, got her shit back. So at least one of us got a valid license, you know what I'm saying? So if I get pulled over, I get my car took, I can have her come get the car, you know what I'm saying, type shit. Well, I got her license back. This was before I met Bree. I'm just throwing this in there, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, everything gonna come and I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm cooperating everything together, you know what I'm saying? All right. Nah. Bree like, how I'm gonna get my car back, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'll figure it out, So she like, all right, cool. We ended up having sex that night, you know what I'm saying? We went to sleep. I ended up spending the night over there. Now, she stayed in this Roach Motel, right? But with the roaches, it's like the roaches only be in the hallways. They wouldn't be in the unit, where we lived at and shit. They'd just be in the hallways type shit, So, like, when you come out in the hallways, you will see roaches crawling up the wall, but they'd never be in the unit. It was weird as hell like that, So I was able to deal with it, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, next day come, she said she had to go to work, you know what I'm saying? So I dropped her off at work. While I drop her off, right, I'm sitting up here brainstorming like, damn, how we gonna get this money, to get this car out? Because I was fucking with her, you know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with her, so I'm like, I'm gonna help her get her car back type shit. Just so happened, right after I dropped her off, my car started overheating. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, it was this car lot in my hood that I had went to prior to this situation, probably like 2 months before I even, got to talking to Bree and all of that. I had went to this car lot in my hood off of 8 Mile, you know what I'm saying? Off of 8 Mile, it's a whole lot of shit. They got a bunch of car lots, all type of shit. So it was this car lot in my hood that I went to because I was looking at a new car anyway. I'm a car guy, you know what I'm saying? I switch up cars every so often, you know. So I had my fun out the money. I was ready to go ahead and give it up and get something new. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm on the lot looking at these cars. The salesman, he come run out there. He seen my car. He like, man, this that rare Monte Carlo right here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm on the lot looking at the cars. He out there looking at my car, revving the gas, looking at the motor, all of that shit. He like, yeah, this that 5.3, the V8. He like, man, he like, I need this on my lot. He like, when you want to sell it? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know, I ain't ready just yet. Like I said, this was like 2 months before this situation happened, you know. I'm like, you know, I ain't ready yet. I'm just up here looking. He like, look, man, whenever you ready, he like, I'll buy it from you and I'll put you in something new. I'm like, all right, cool, you know. So I looked at a couple cars. I ain't really seen nothing I want, you know. So I hopped back in the car. I pulled off. I just kept that in the back of my mind that if I want to sell this car, I got a lot that'll buy it from me. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So, fast forward to tape. Now we back at it. I'm sitting there brainstorming like, damn, you know, how I'm going to help her get her car out the impound. You know what I'm saying? Well, the car started overheating, right? The damn temperature went from the middle, where it's in between hot and cold, and went from being in the middle to start rising up. I'm like, what the fuck? Motherfucker ran all the way up the height, car cut off. I'm like, oh man, this motherfucker overheating. You know what I'm saying? Long story short on that, I took it to my mechanic. He said I threw a ride. You know what I'm saying? Basically, the motor gone. You know. Now, with that car, when it overheat like that, you know, it give you enough time, you know what I'm saying, to get it where you need to get it to, and that's it, you know. So, I'm like, the car overheating, I gotta let it go. It need a motor. I'm not dropping a new motor in here. Like, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I gotta just get rid of this bitch. You know, thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, it is a lot that want to buy this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So I went to the lot. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. I pulled up to the lot. I pulled up on the street where the light set it. The light set off at 8 Mile. But down the street, you know, was a block full of houses and shit. So I parked like 2 houses down, you know, from the light. I parked there, cut the car off, let the car cool down. You know what I'm saying? I done rolled up a few blunts. I'm on the phone talking to people, all type of shit. So I let like a good 2 hours go by so the car could cool all the way down. You know what I'm saying? The car cooled down. I'm blowed. I done talked to everybody. All right, now I'm ready to go get this finesse on. You know what I'm saying? Pulled the car up in the parking lot. The salesman came, ran out. He like, yeah, you back, man? You ready to sell it? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go ahead and let this bitch go. He like, all right, bet. He gave me $2,500. You know what I'm saying? He like, here you go. I'm like, cool. I ain't even argue with it because mind you, the car overheat. You know what I'm saying? It's only gonna be so long before that damn meter run back up the height. So I wasn't trying to argue, negotiate, none of that. I'm like, bet, I take that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I paid for the car anyway. So basically, I got my money back. I got to ride that bitch for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? I was here, there, everywhere. I did my thing in that car, you know? So I got all my fun out of it, and I got my money back out of it. It was a win for me, you know? Little did he know the car overheat, you know what I'm saying? But it's a car lot. It ain't shit for them to drop a new motor or have one of their mechanics fix the shit, you know. It wasn't nothing, but he finessed me, you know what I'm saying, by giving me what he wanted to give me. I finessed him by giving him a ball motor, you know what I'm saying? So play for play, you know. All right, now I'm walking down the street because this in my hood, you know, so I'm good in my hood, you know what I'm saying? So I'm walking down the street. One of the homies pulled up on me. Hey, why you walking? What's up? I hop in the car with him. I pull off, right? I called my brother. You know what I'm saying? At that time, me and my brother, we was cool. I don't fuck with that nigga, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we was cool at the time, you know. And he had a little '02 drop top Mustang at the time. And I had got that car for him. You know what I'm saying? The dude wanted $1,500 for it. You know what I'm saying? I ended up negotiating this shit for him. Only paid $750 for that car. No lie on my kids. You know what I'm saying? So got it for nothing, you know. So I called my brother. I'm like, hey, come pick me up. You know what I'm saying? He came to the hood. He came pick me up and shit. I'm like, I had to sell that car. That bitch got to overheating. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, now I got to get this girl car off the lot type shit. You know what I'm saying? So he like, well, you need my car, blah, blah, blah. You can use it, do what you got to do. I'm like, all right, cool. So me and him was kicking it. Boom. Fast forward to tape. It's time for girl to get off work. I didn't drop my brother off. I'm using my brother car now. You know what I'm saying? I pulled up on Bree and my brother car. She like, what the fuck happened to your car? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I sold it. She like, why you sell it? I'm like, I sold it so we can get your car out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I sacrificed my shit so we can get your shit. But little did she know my car was overheating. You know what I'm saying? I just got that bitch off real quick while she was at work type shit. She like, oh my God, you sold your car for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I made a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you my nigga, I fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we got to make some shit happen. Like, I played my role. You know what I'm saying? She like, oh my God, I don't believe this, blah, blah, blah. She like, all right, well, now we need a licensed driver. Because like I said, my license was bald, her license was bald. You know what I'm saying? Now, at that time, Detroit, they didn't give a fuck about insurance. You know what I'm saying? The license, what can you say? Your license, go to your car and all. They didn't care about none of that. As long as you came with the money and a valid license, it didn't matter who license it was. You know what I'm saying? As long as you came with a valid license and the money, they would release the car to you. Of course, you had to come with the title, you know what I'm saying, to the car. Like, you can't just come up to the lot and just get any car you want. So, of course, you had to come with the title, a valid driver's license, and the money. They released the car to you. You know what I'm saying? No insurance, none of that. They didn't even care about none of that back then at that time. So, while me and her talking, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I paid for my baby mama to get her the license back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, she got a valid license. So I'm like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her get your car off the lot. I'm going to pay for it, and I'm going to have her get your car off the lot. She like, you sure that's going to work, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, me and my baby mama cool. Now let me throw this in there. With me and my baby mama, I done told y'all before, me and her, we did breakups to makeups every year that we was together. You know what I'm saying? So at this time, we had broke up. The rules was don't come back with no kids or no STDs. That was our rule. Whenever me and her would get into a real bad and we would break up, separate, that was the rules. So she knew that I was out here doing my thing. Now at that time, me and her had broke up. And usually we'd break up for about 3-4 months or some shit like that. Then we'd get back together. So in between this time when me and her broke up, I ended up dealing with Bree. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Nah, back to it. So I'm like, I'm going to have my baby mama do it. I paid for her license. She going to do it, So Bree like, all right, if you can get her to do it, cool, Call my baby mama. I need you to get this car off the lot. She like, all right, cool, just come get me. We pulled up on my baby mama. Drop top, old ass Mustang, but I'm feeling good. I got my baby mama and my new bitch in the car. You know what I'm saying? So we ride to the tow yard. We get there, right? My baby mama go in there, showed them her license, gave them the title to the car, They checked it. They like, all right, cool. Where the money? Cashed it out. They drove the car off the lot. There you go. Gave Bree the keys to the car. She jumped in the car, pulled off. Gave me this big ass Kool-Aid smile, ear to ear. She's like, all right, I'm gonna call you later. I'm like, bet, She jumped in the car and pulled off. Me and my baby mama, we jumped back in my brother's car. We pull off. I dropped my baby mama off. As soon as I dropped her off, I'm about to say my brother, my girl Bree, she called, right? She like, I can't believe you got my car back for me. That was just crazy, blah, 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 blah. She like, we locked in, woo, woo. She like, I want you to come over later. I got something for you. I'm like, all right, cool. So later on I came through. We did it again. You know what I'm saying? This time she threw some head in there, All right, cool, We went to sleep again. Next morning, we get up. She like, I told you I had something for you. I sit up. I'm thinking it's a gift or something. You know what I'm saying? She like, I know you going through a rough time right now. You know what I'm saying? She like, look, this is what I want you to do. I want you to come move in with me. You know what I'm saying? You come move in with me, stack your money up, woo woo, we be good. I'm like, straight up? She like, yeah. She like, just help me with the rent. You can live here and do whatever you want. Big. I'm like, how much is the rent? The rent was $800. She like, you could just give me $300 a month. You know what I'm saying? I'd be good with it. I'm like, hell yeah, bet, it's on. You know what I'm saying? So I was gambling. I was shooting dice at the casino a lot at that time. You know what I'm saying? So I come up on that 800 in a couple days. You know what I'm saying? So I was just giving her the whole rent. Like, here, you just pay the rent. Mind you, the rent is in her name and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't had nothing to do with it. So I just give her the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying the rent, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We good. We in that bitch vibing. We doing the damn thing. I'm looking for a new whip at this point. You know what I'm saying? Man, one day I came to the apartment. This might have been like a month later. You know what I'm saying? I come to the apartment. I open the door. I go up the stairs to go to the unit. Now, her unit was the last unit all the way at the end of the hall. The door is facing you. So if you walking up the hallway, you see the door at the end of the hall, right? While I come walking up the stairs, I see a big ass white letter taped on the door. I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? So I walk up to the door. I'm unlocking the door. I snatch the paper off the door, right? I'm walking in the apartment. I'm reading the paper. It's the eviction notice. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know with eviction notice, they don't just come out of nowhere because you missed a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't miss a few months. You know what I'm saying? So basically, she was behind rent before I even got with her. But she didn't even tell me this. You know what I'm saying? She was just playing like everything was sweet, And the money that I gave her for the rent, she spent that shit on wigs and partying and drinking, all of that shit. She told me that she put it towards the rent, but she didn't. You know what I'm saying? Now, her cousin had a little boutique, however you pronounce it, boutique shop or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And she was telling me that her cousin was giving her these wigs and all of that. I didn't even been up to the shop with her a couple of times. So I was like, oh, okay, this is where she get her wigs from or whatever. But whole time, that wasn't where she was getting it from. She blew the rent money type shit. That's what it was. So we get this eviction notice. And basically, she was blowing the rent money because she was already behind on rent. You know what I'm saying? I guess they already clipped her and said, hey, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? We about to send out this notice. Get the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't put none of that money towards the rent, basically, So by the time the notice came in, I'm the one that caught it, So when she came in, I showed her, man, what the fuck going on? Woo-de-woo. She get to crying like, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to say nothing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dog, I don't believe this shit. You know what I'm saying? We got 30 days to get up out of here. Like, I thought this shit was sweet. You know what I'm saying? I was getting ready to buy a new whip and all type of shit. But nah, now this money got to go towards a new spot. You know what I'm saying? So, wasn't no time to waste. I instantly hopped online looking for apartments. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, we got to move. We got 30 days. You know what I'm saying? We don't got time to be playing. Or we going to be on the side of the road somewhere. So, I'm looking up apartments. Boom. I found one in a city called Southfield. Southfield is like the next city over from Detroit. When you cross 8 Mile, like on the deep west side of Detroit, you cross 8 Mile, that's Southfield, right? All right, so I found the apartment out there in Southfield. You know what I'm saying? This apartment was an old senior home. You know what I'm saying? But the seniors, basically, I guess they wasn't pulling in enough money. So they started getting rid of the seniors and turned it into like a public apartment type shit. You know what I'm saying? I caught it right when they was transitioning this apartment building. You know what I'm saying? So I hit them up. I'm like, what's up? What's the credentials? They like, shit, all you got to do is put in an app. If you approve, it's $1,000 down, $800 a month. I'm like, straight up. Now, mind you, back at that time, $1,000 was like the usual down payment. Now it's like $4,000. You know what I'm saying? But back then, $1,000 was like the usual payment. I'm like, all right, cool. We went up there, right? She got approved. Because, I couldn't get approved. I'm a convicted violent offender. You know what I'm saying? So I don't pass background checks at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even put a DoorDash account in my name. You know what I'm saying? Let alone an apartment, a house, anything like that. So, of course, it had to go in her name. You know, she got approved. They like, all right, $1,000. Cash that shit out. They gave us the keys, said you can move in today. Now, this whole process was probably like 2 weeks after we got the eviction notice. So time winding down, you know what I'm saying? I clutch free throw that shit right before we can get evicted. You know what I'm saying? We went up to the apartment, we looked around, like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move everything in here. Man, me and her daddy, we moved all our shit from the Roach Motel in Detroit all the way to the apartment building in Southfield. Her daddy helped me move all of that shit. We moved everything. We got it into the new apartment, right? Now look, 80% of what was in the apartment was my shit. The TVs, the couches, the food, the bed, you know what I'm saying? The dining room table, the chairs, all of that shit was mine. Only thing she really had after all the smoke cleared, she just had wigs, hair products and shit like that, clothes, shoes. That's all she really had left. You know what I'm saying? All of that other shit that was in the apartment was old as hell. You know, her bed was old, the couch, all that shit was old. So I was like, fuck it, leave that shit. I got my own shit, you know what I'm saying? So I moved all my shit into the apartment. Mind you, this is a newer apartment, so we not moving that old ass shit up in here, you know what I'm saying? So whatever she had left, we moved that in there, and all of my shit, we moved all my shit in there, you know what I'm saying? So basically, I furnished the place, I paid the down payment and I furnished that motherfucker, All right, now we in a new apartment. Her respect me went way through the roof after that. By this time, it's like October. Me and her, we hooked up probably around like that July or something. July, August, somewhere around there. Maybe August, you know what I'm saying? Now this time it's about October, you know what I'm saying? Me and her, we rocking. We doing our thing, right? Now, of course, in relationships, y'all get into arguments, shit like that happen, right? Well, me and her, we got into an argument one day, right? This argument right here, it opened up a can of worms, you know what I'm saying? So after this argument, me and her, we was on rocky road, but we was still trying to work through the shit, right? So one day we sitting there watching this movie, Paper Soldiers with Cameron and was Kevin Hart. That was like the main stars of that movie. Well, we was watching that movie one day, right? And they pulled out the Nextel phones and shit. So when that happened, it made me think like, damn, back in the day, me and my man's man, we was the king of them Nextel Boost mobile phones. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, we from the same hood, so we know all the same niggas, all of that shit, right? So when I mentioned main name, she had like this little smirk on her face. You know what I'm saying? I stopped the movie. Hold up. I'm like, let me ask you something. She had this look like, damn, he about to catch me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you ever mess with Maine? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we from the same hood. We know all the same people, So I didn't have to go in no details. I'm like, you know who Maine is, right? She like, yeah, I know. I'm like, you fucked with him? She like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Me and him messed around a couple times, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? After that argument, and now she telling me that she didn't fuck my man's Maine, I was like, yeah, I was mentally turned off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was turned off for real. I'm like, why the fuck you ain't tell me this? You know what I'm saying? We from the same hood. I know everybody. Like, why you ain't tell me this? She like, oh, I ain't even think about it, blah, 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 all of that. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give you one more chance to come clean. Have you fucked with anybody else in the hood? Because I know everybody and there's nothing for me to find out. She had to come clean. There was another nigga too, named Tone. Fall like Tone. I done told y'all about him when I said the ops jumped me at Ace of Spades, the strip club. When I said the ops jumped me and I whooped both of their ass. I even did a short on me, you know what I'm saying? Where I showed where the club was at. What can you say? I reenacted how everything happened. You know, it was on 8 Mile. I showed how I reenacted how the whole fight played out in my shorts at Ace of Spade Gentleman Club. You know what I'm saying? It was him and his boy that jumped me at that club. You know what I'm saying? But I whooped their ass type shit. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Tone. Like I said, I don't cap. And I definitely don't lie on the dead. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, she said that, you know, she messed with Tone too. You know, I'm like, man, what the fuck? Now, at that time, Tone was still alive. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why the fuck you ain't tell me this? You know what I'm saying? She over there crying and sobbing. I'm sorry, babe, my bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, little do she know, it's a rap. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with women that fuck with niggas that I grew up with type shit. Like, I don't roll like that. It's too many people out here that you can fuck with besides niggas that I fuck with for real. You know what I'm saying? So mentally, I was turned off. You know what I'm saying? It was a wrap on that. But I was still playing my part. You feel me? So with that being said, with her telling me about the guys she messed with, the argument we had, we was on risky road. Like, you know, it was going downhill from there. You know, so by this time it's like the middle of October now. We got into it again, real bad. This was early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, I'm about to just go ahead and leave, man. You know what I'm saying? Because me and you, we keep arguing. I was saying that I was just about to leave for the day. You know, go out, you know, clear my mind type shit, whatever. She took it as I was saying I was moving out. So she put all my shit in the hallway after I left. You know, she called me talking about, yeah, all your stuff in the hallway, come get your shit. Ooh, woo. I'm thinking she on some bullshit trying to get me to come back to argue or whatever, you know. Whatever, bitch. You know, she hit me with a text. She like, look, the residents complaining about all your stuff in the hallway, come get it before people get to stealing it. What? All right, I went back to the apartment, right? I get to the apartment, sure enough, all my shit in the hallway. Now, you know I got a key to the apartment, you know, so I walk up to the door. I'm about to unlock the door and put all my shit back in the apartment. You know what I'm saying? She didn't change the locks on the door. She did this shit quick. Put all of my shit in the hallway. Literally everything I had. The bed, the TV, everything. Dining room table, my kids' shit. Like, this bitch moved everything like she was a grown-ass man. Swear to God. Put all my shit in the hall. And, you know, luckily, this was in the suburbs. You know, ain't nobody touched my shit. So, luckily, I was good on that. But if this was in the hood, like, my shit would have been gone. You know what I'm saying? Man, completely flipped the script on me. Now, I told you, I did demolition, too. I'm an independent contractor. You know what I'm saying? So, I went back to the car. I grabbed my flat bar, picked the lock, boop, door open. I know how to get in and out of doors without tearing that bitch up. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm an independent contractor. You know what I'm saying? So I got in there without tearing the door up, right? I brought all my shit back into the apartment, right? I sat there and I waited on her. I waited on her to come back. Mind you, this the same apartment, you know, we living in this shit. So I was just in there chilling till she got back. She get back, I hear the door unlocking. I'm like, yeah, it's on now. Now it's about to start getting real. You know what I'm saying? She unlocking the door. Boom, open the door, come in. She come in, she see me. Eyes big as hell, like she saw a ghost. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, what's up now, bitch? You know? She like, how you get in here? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you forgot? I do demolition, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I know how to get in shit. The fuck wrong with you? I'm like, you just gonna put all my shit in the hallway? Like, what type of hoe ass shit was that? She like, well, you said you was leaving, so I was helping you out. Oh yeah, you was helping me out. I'm about to help you out. Now, we stayed on the 4th floor in the apartment building. You know, we had a balcony and shit. You know what I'm saying? I grabbed all her shit. I threw everything off the balcony down to the ground. Throwing everything. She crying, oh my God, stop doing that, blah, blah. No, bitch, you put all my shit in the hallway. You got me fucked up. I ain't one of them niggas. You know what I'm saying? I bundled up all her shit, everything going off the balcony. She on the phone calling somebody. I'm thinking she calling Tone and them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, had them niggas pull up. Them niggas already know what's up. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking my shit, still throwing her shit off the balcony. She like, yeah, y'all need to hurry up and get here. He just acting crazy. Whole time, I'm thinking she talking to them guys. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, that was her hood. She fucked with them niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking it's them. Like, hell yeah, pull up. I want my get back times two. I didn't already whoop them at the club. Now I'm about to whoop them again. Have them pull up. You know what I'm saying? So after I threw all her shit off the balcony, I was there waiting. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, she didn't call them guys. She called the police. So Southfield police pulled up. They asked me what happened. I told them. You know, they was like, well, you know, it ain't right to throw her stuff off the balcony, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It was what it was, you know. So they like, look, you know, we got to run your name. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. If you check out, you good, you know. I had a warrant in this city called Farmington Hills. Now, you got the city of Southfield, and then right behind Southfield is Farmington Hills, literally. So from Southfield to the next city is Farmington Hills. You know, they border each other. Man, I had a warrant in Farmington Hills for driving on suspended, right? When the Southfield police ran my name and they seen I had that warrant in Farmington Hills, they like, hey, you know, we got to take you to jail, you know, because you got a warrant in Farmington Hills. I'm like, damn, man. So they cuffed me, took me to jail. She thought that I went to jail for that shit, but I went to jail for a damn warrant. You know what I'm saying? For driving on suspended. So I go to jail, right? They transferred me. The Southfield police took me to the 7-Eleven at the border of Southfield and Farmington Hills. They took me to that 7-Eleven. They had Farmington Hills police pull up. They swapped me out the Southfield car, from the Southfield car with the handcuffs. They took the handcuffs off, swapped me to the Farmington Hills car with the Farmington Hills handcuffs. They swapped me at the damn 7-Eleven, man. You know what I'm saying? They stood there and talked for a minute, laughed, joked, all that shit. Southfield and Farmington Hills, they close. They like this. You know what I'm saying? So they talk they shit. I'm in the back of the damn squad car like, man, get me out these fucking cuffs. Take me to jail. Y'all is tweaking. You know what I'm saying? One of the cops went in the store, went in the 7-Eleven, grabbed them a slushie, all type of shit. You know, so we rolled to the police department. The police department literally right down the street from the 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? They took me to jail. Next morning, I see the judge. She's driving on suspended. You know what I'm saying? The judge let me go. The judge like, look, if you don't pay this ticket and you come back in front of me again and you don't have this ticket paid, I'm going to give you 90 days in jail type shit. I'm like, all right, cool. Judge released me on a personal bond. Boom, I'm out. Violation is if I get caught driving on suspended again, I get 90 days in jail. All right, cool. I get out. I jump on my phone, right? I look on my Facebook. Why Bree on there cutting up, talking shit. She done made like 4 statuses about me overnight while I was in jail. Cause she thought I was gonna be in jail for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Nah, got out that next morning. So I'm looking at all the statuses. This bitch on there talking hella shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, straight. So I commented on one of the statuses. I just left the laughing emoji, right? She called my phone. Oh, I'm sorry, baby, blah, blah, blah. You know, I ain't mean for this to happen, blah, 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 all of this. I'm like, look, man, fuck you. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Boom, bang the line on her. You know what I'm saying? She kept calling me, kept texting me, apologizing, all that shit. Bitch, fuck you. We done. You know what I'm saying? So it's about 2 weeks later now. You know what I'm saying? It's damn near Thanksgiving time at this point, you know. I'm like, man, I had a lot of shit in that apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost everything. Like, I need my shit, you know? She still was hitting me up every day, 2-3 times a day. Apologize. Come back home, baby. I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. I ain't trying to hear it. But at this point, I'm like, man, I need my shit back. You know what I'm saying? Where the fuck is my shit at? So I ended up responding to her one day. I'm like, you know, where my shit at? She like, I moved everything back in the apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like, she like, I kept everything in the apartment. You moved everything back in, I kept it there. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. I'm like, you kept all my shit? She like, yeah, everything here, baby. Just come back home. I miss you so much. I'm so sorry. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay. I went there to the apartment. Opened the door. Showed up. All my shit was still in the apartment. Just like how I moved it back in there. Everything was still there. I'm in my mind like, yes, I got my shit back. Because I thought she threw all my shit away. You know what I'm saying? But she kept all my shit. I'm like, yes, babe, okay. Now, at this point, I'm formulating a plan so I can get the fuck away from this bitch. Because I don't play that police shit. You call the police on me, it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no turning back. It ain't no none of that. You know what I'm saying? You call the police on me, it's a wrap. So, I'm formulating a plan. I'm like, I got to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I got to get all my shit and get up out of here, right? So, fast forward the tape a little more. Thanksgiving Day, right? Me and her was supposed to have Thanksgiving dinner together. This broad told me she had to go to work. You know, she had to work on Thanksgiving. Like, all right, cool, whatever. She go to work. I'm at home chilling, smoking. Then had the Thanksgiving food ready, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting on her to get off work. Like I said, I'm playing my role. You know what I'm saying? Next thing I know, I get a call from her. Thanksgiving Day. I get a call saying that she was going to jail. Why are you going to jail? What the fuck is going on? Well, come to find out, she wasn't at work. She on the east side with a nigga, riding around with a nigga and shit. You know what I'm saying? Drunk as hell, again, because she was a fucking drunk. You know what I'm saying? She didn't smoke at all, but she was a drinker. Wine was her thing. She would drink 4 bottles of wine right there. Like, she was a heavy wino. You know what I'm saying? Well, she was out riding around with a nigga drinking and shit. She crashed into somebody. You know what I'm saying? Totaled the car. So, you know, of course, the hook showed up. You know what I'm saying? Now, while she on the phone telling me, the police on some bullshit, they taking me to jail for nothing, somebody crashed into me, blah, 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 all of this shit, right? She painting the picture to me like she innocent. Why the cops snatch her phone? Mind you, this is Detroit police. I told y'all, Detroit police is street niggas turned cops. I'm telling you, swear to God, you know what I'm saying? So, the cop snatch her phone. He jump on the line with me. He like, look, bro, I know this your girl and everything, but he like, look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. He like, man, she out here riding around with a dude and she was drunk and she crashed into somebody and totaled the car. Like, he kept it all the way a band with, I swear, on my kids. He kept it a band with me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? She all in the background. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. That ain't what happened. The cop, he like, shut up. I'm telling him what you really did. You know, he like, you out here fucking around on your man. I hear all of this. Like, the cop got the phone in his ear. Like, I'm telling you, Detroit police, street niggas turn cops. You know what I'm saying? So he told me the whole deal. I'm like, oh, okay. That's what she out here doing. She out here with a whole nother nigga and shit. She said she was at work. He like, nah, bro. She wasn't at work. She out here riding around with this dude, you know what I'm saying? And crashed the car. I'm like, okay, bet. I'm already formulating a plan on how I'm going to escape this motherfucker anyway. And then this shit happened. So, yeah, go to jail. You know what I'm saying? It give me more time to clear my mind to figure out my next move. You know what I'm saying? She go to jail. She called me from jail. She want me to come bind her out. I ain't even picking up her calls. You know what I'm saying? Next day, she come in. You know, like, I hear the door unlocking. She walk in. Her daddy binded her out. You know, she like, I've been calling you. Why you ain't answered? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they wouldn't let me accept the calls. You know what I'm saying? I just made up some shit. So she like, oh my God, babe, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for things to happen that way. Blah, blah, blah. At this point, I'm really outdone with her. Like, I don't give a fuck no more. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So this after Thanksgiving, right? So I told my homeboy Smooth, I'm like, look, I'm like, I got to be out of here by Christmas Day. You know what I'm saying? Like, we not going into the new year together, and I'm not getting her nothing for Christmas. So I'm like, by Christmas Day, I got to be out of here. So he like, you know, what's the plan? I'm like, shit, I don't know. But I'm like, I know I'm moving all of my shit out of here by Christmas, you know. So I'm like, I'm going to get back with you when the time comes. He like, bet, you know, I got you. Woo. It was Christmas Eve. We playing this role like we got these gifts for each other for Christmas Day. You know what I'm saying? Everything gonna be straight, blah, blah, blah. This another day she had to work. It was like she always had to work on the holidays. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lie. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, she supposedly at work on Christmas Eve, right? Called Smooth and my brother. I'm like, y'all, show up. They showed up. We moved all of my shit out the apartment while she so-called at work. You know what I'm saying? We moved all of that shit. Got everything about all of my shit. Only thing that was left was her hair products, her wigs, all of that, her clothes and shoes. That was it. Everything else was mine. You know what I'm saying? So we moved everything up out of there. Only thing that was left was my bed, right? We was able to put all of my shit in these 2 cars that we had. I was able to move all of my shit, got all my shit up out, everything that I was gonna keep. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the shit was just trash, you know. But everything I was gonna keep, we was able to put it in 2 cars. You know what I'm saying? Only thing that was left was my bed. I'm like, shit, I gotta get this damn bed up out of here. Like, how the fuck I'm gonna do that? And I didn't want to put the bed on top of the car. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, I gotta figure out a way how we gonna do this. Or I'm gonna just have to throw this bitch out. Man, I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna just have to trash the bed. Fuck it. Nah. I told y'all about my old little bird I had at the time named Kasha. You know what I'm saying? Kasha was the one that told me I need to go into business for myself, be my own businessman, you know, things like that. She the one that printed up the business cards, you know, for me to start my own moving company and all of that. Her, right? She just so happened to call me. Like, man, God worked in mysterious ways. Swear to God. She just so happened to call me, right? She like, you know what's going on with you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shit, I'm moving my shit about this apartment right now, you know? She like, you need some help? I'm like, yeah, I need some help. She like, bet, I'm about to pull up on you. She came and pulled up to the apartment, right? She pulled up. She was in the new Pacifica. You know what I'm saying? She let all the seats down. My bed slid in the back of that Pacifica perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Closed the trunk. She like, you know, where is all this going? I'm like, I don't know. I just know I had to get my shit away from here. I'm like, I don't know where I'm about to take this shit for real. I'm like, I just had to get up out of here. She like, well, you can move your stuff at my place. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? That's how I ended up moving in with her. You know, like I told y'all, I had to move in with her for a couple of months. I had my own room and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I said how that's when I found out she was nasty as hell for real. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't clean up, nothing. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't doing nothing. This is when I found all that out when I moved in with her type shit. And I was saying how her son was nasty. The nigga be shitting on the floor, tub full of water, all type of shit. Her. You know what I'm saying? So I move all my shit to her spot, right? I get to set all my shit up in the room. It was a 3-bedroom townhouse. She had her own room. Her son had his own room. I had my own room. You know what I'm saying? So I moved all my stuff in that room. I was straight. You know what I'm saying? I went from this apartment to this townhouse, like just like that. Like, swear to God. You know what I'm saying? Now, after I moved everything out the apartment, I left her a note on little sticky notes. I left probably like 4 sticky notes, you know what I'm saying, on the wall. I was like, yeah, you know, you fucked up. You know that all of that bullshit you was on, I'm out of here. We done. Mind you, it's Christmas Eve, so you know it's the wintertime. It's cold as fuck. I opened the balcony door. I left that shit wide open. I opened all the windows in there, and I cut on the AC. Left it ice cold in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So by the time she came in there, it was empty and cold as fuck with stickies on the wall. Yeah, bitch, you called the hook on me. We done. And you was fucking my homies and shit. Nah, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So I got down on her last minute, Christmas Eve, smoked the fuck out of her. You know what I'm saying? I always get the last laugh. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? Man, she was so hurt. She was blowing my line up. I blocked her, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? She was hurt. But that was the end of the road for us. You know what I'm saying? And I started my new journey with my old chicken head. You know what I'm saying? And that shit wasn't no better either, you know? But it was what it was. So that was the story on Bree, man. you know, went through some wild shit with her, man. You know, I I honestly can say, like, it was a good time, but it wasn't for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It was just for a good time at that moment, man. You know, we had our fun, we did what we did, but as time went on, she showed her true colors. You know what I'm saying? Behind that beautiful face was a deep, dark, empty soul. You know what I'm saying? And it all came out. And this was the first time I ever moved in with a woman. You know what I'm saying? And I seen the real her. And this is exactly why I preach to the guys. Don't ever move in with a woman, man. And this is why I just been explaining it, you know what I'm saying, all of this time. Like, this is why you don't move in with a woman, because it is right here. You know what I'm saying? I came off the top doing the most, you know what I'm saying? And she still crossed me. Wasn't paying the rent, sneaking around on me, fuck some of the homies from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl was bogus for real, you know? Not all on the camera, all on the screen and shit. She looking good, like she living this great life and all of that. But on the low, her ass is a bum. A complete fucking bum. After that, I started looking at them super fine girls differently. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that beauty only skin deep. Real talk. It's just skin deep, man. And she proved it. Because once I came into her life, she really showed me who she was. She was real life, like a low life scammer. You know what I'm saying? Not like scammer, like fraud, take your credit cards and swipe all your money. Not a scammer like that. She was like a scammer, like trying to get down on men that come into her life because she beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So she trying to use her beauty, as a way to get down on somebody. You know what I'm saying? But the problem was she came across the right nigga, which is me. Came across the right one. And I smoked them boots to capacity. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing you got to understand about me, baby, I done been way down there. When you say bottom of the barrel, I live that life. Fuck what everybody talking about, like they really came from the mud and all of that. I really came from that. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no get back on me. I always get the last laugh. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened. I got the last laugh on this broad. Like, you tried it with the right one. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is, the whole time, I wasn't nothing but real to her. You know what I'm saying? I gave her everything. I even sold my car for her, even though my car was bold. You know what I'm saying? But still, like, I didn't have to spend that money on getting her car out the impound. I could have just bought me another whip. You know what I'm saying? I didn't spend that money on getting her car out the impound. It had some mechanical issues I had to get fixed. By the time I looked up, I only had like $200 left. You know what I'm saying? After everything I had to spend on her car. So I could have had bought me my own shit. You know what I'm saying? But I made the sacrifice for her. But then again, like I said, I was playing my role. You know what I'm saying? So me playing my role kind of backfired on me too. So I'm not going to play it like I'm the victim in this shit or none of that, because I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It was just that, I got a slap in the face, she got a slap in the face. You know what I'm saying? But when I slapped her in the face, it was like a double slap. You know what I'm saying? Because right when she thought that I came back to be with her, I really came back to get my shit. And I formulated my plan and I got the fuck on her. Right before she thought it's the holiday time, you know what I'm saying? We about to spend time together. I got my man back. Everything good. Nah, baby. I always get the last laugh. You know what I'm saying? So let's fast forward the tape a little bit. Now it's 2020. I'm through the roof now. I'm through the motherfucking roof. I done came all the way up. You know what I'm saying? I'm through the motherfucking roof. Well, she get wind that I'm up. So she all in my DM. She done made a new page, all type of shit. Well, she in my inbox, my Facebook inbox. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I pulled up on her, you know what I'm saying? Just to fuck her for that last time and just to show her, like, you played me, you know what I'm saying, when a nigga was on Rocky Road, but now you see I'm up and here you is calling me king and all type of shit, how you want to be back with me, all of that. Now I took her ass to a Roach Motel, I smacked her, and then I dropped her ass right back off. You know what I'm saying? She thought that we was going to rekindle our situation and all of that. Hell no, I smoked her ass. I just gave her that last nut and let her know, like, yeah, you remember 3 years ago when I was fucked up and you played me like a ham, putting all my shit in the hallway. Now you see I'm up. You see I'm out here doing the motherfucking thing, and now you try and get back with me. Nah, baby, it don't work like that. Like I said, I always get the last laugh. So, to end it like this, what's the lesson, Mr. Roll Up? Lesson is, vet somebody. Vet the person that you're dealing with before you become serious with that person. Because on the inside, you don't know who they is. On the outside, beautiful, everything to the core, exactly what you're looking for. But on the inside, they really lost, man. There's really nothing in there. And you want to get with something like that, I'm telling you, you're going to lose way more than you will gain. It's been another episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blunts rolled and get drink.